Good evening, VV Nation. My name is Ryan. Welcome to the channel. Yesterday, we talked about that false optimism from the inflation report, right? Well, PPI came out this morning. We see the market. Right now, I'm looking at Dow Jones down 286, NASDAQ down 217. On the live stream yesterday with Glenn, we talked about really the only optimism we see as far as tech right now is NVIDIA's summit next week, right? And Quantum Day, right? They got their big annual event. So I could see, why SMCI, NVIDIA, some of the other semiconductors rallied yesterday. We're not seeing that follow through today. Now, tonight's presentation, yesterday, I asked for your stock picks, right? What stocks, is on your shopping list? What stocks are you interested? So that way, when bottom fishing opportunities present themselves, which looks like it's going to happen, relatively soon, obviously, tariffs, geopolitical concerns, that's going to, play a role in, how soon and, how much of a rally, we potentially get in this bottom fishing scenario. Now, let's go ahead and jump in the VectorVest 7 software. We got 65 stocks. That's right, 65. A lot of analysis to go over, so let's get started. All right, we're on the homepage of the VectorVest 7 software. Now, last night I said, pretty much you're catching a falling knife, right? That false optimism, the CPI report, I wasn't falling for that. I would be more focused on NVIDIA's event next week. But you can see, look, 3 red lights across the board. Now, I've said this on the videos, but if you're new to the channel, this trend column, the first component here, which is down, that's our fastest moving market timing signal. It looks at the 5-day trend of the broad market. We're tracking over 9,000 stocks, right? So before anyone just starts, jumping in and buying stocks, if you buy stocks before this primary wave goes up, very aggressive in nature, very, very aggressive. Now, we got 3 red lights across the board, right? So again, the momentum is still to the downside. But something that I'm seeing here, look at this. Price action, the VectorVest composite here, is down today. We got 3 red lights, but look what's up. We're getting a little bit of a divergence here between these indicators and our underlying trend, our MTI. This is the whole indicator here I've been talking about to, really identifies market bottoms, right? It tells you when the market is looking for a bottom. It's down in that parameter right now. Anything, 0.6 or below, the market's looking for a bottom, right? Now, is the bottom in? That's the question. And it doesn't look like the bottom's in. I said it yesterday. I don't think the bottom is in. We will see. We got to have some optimism, especially, on the tariffs. We know what's moving the market, the tariffs, right? And on top of that, over the last few weeks, I've been saying, the rotation out of tech, out of some of these, high momentum stocks, Palantir, things of that nature, going into what? Look at this, gold, right? I said this on the live stream yesterday with Glenn. Gold is the dip I would have bought yesterday, not tech. You can see it's all up today. I added some of a gold position to my VectorVest portfolio that I do on the live stream on Wednesdays. So that being said, right now, gold and silver, that's the momentum. If you look at the top RT industries, clearly, shorting the market through ETFs, still showing momentum to the upside. The banks, foreign, and then the foreign ETFs, they are down slightly today. Not as bad as, the NASDAQ composite or the tech. So again, if you want to play it safe, commodities, not a bad place to be. Other places, financial, foreign banks is a good one. Foreign ETFs has been pretty good right now. That is kind of the safe play right now. But tonight's video, I know you guys, are getting antsy. You want to buy some stocks. I've got 65 stocks. 50 of them you guys gave me last night, right? So let's go ahead and jump in, take a look at the watch list, and see where the opportunities are. So the stocks you gave me here, a wide variety of stocks. I did get a lot of, silver, mining stocks like that. So this watch list, right, we've got 65 stocks here. You see this RT, or relative timing, that's our technical indicator. Looking at the short-term price trend of these entities. If I scroll down, this scale is on a 0 to 2. Anything above 1 is favorable. So I highlighted XOM, which is ExxonMobil. If I scroll over to the right, and we look at the industries, right? Look at this. Petroleum, building, telecom, bank. That's a foreign bank there. And on top, the momentum is in the mining, right? It's gold, it's silver. We've got, the auto industry, Xpeng, which is going to be, a Chinese company. So you're seeing what's working in the market currently, right? You've got the mining, you've got petro, you've got a lot of foreign entities, at no surprise. So these are the stocks right now that are working currently in the market scenario. And if I scroll down, if we look at stocks below an RT of 1, look, we've got Micron on the top. We've got Micron, SMCI, Apple. That's the tech, right? we're seeing tech unfolding over the last several weeks. So I know there's a lot of opportunities, a lot of people wondering if there's bottom fishing opportunities here. And I believe there are. Some of these tech stocks are now undervalued. I've been looking at Google, looking at Meta, for some of the, bigger cap companies there, but even some of the smaller cap companies. We've got all kinds of stocks on this list here. So we're going to break them down. We're going to go through the charts, right? I'm going to tell you. All right, first up, we've got Xpeng here. Again, this is a Chinese EV company. First thing you notice, this is not a bottom fishing play. This is going to be what's working in the market right now. You see the momentum to the upside. I'm going to treat this like a momentum play, right? It's not a value play. We only value the company at $5.70. We've already seen stocks like Palantir, right? Greatly overvalued, take huge pullbacks, right? So if you're not comfortable, if you're not willing to take that risk, if you're not disciplined, this is not going to be the stock for you. But what it's doing right now is working for the bulls. And we see a nice bullish candlestick today, even in a down market. Nice strong buy rating here. I've got a 3.8. The Bollinger Bands here, it's in the fast lane. It's above this upper Bollinger Band. So as long as it keeps showing me that momentum, I would ride it out and take some profits. If it does pull back, you can easily utilize that Bollinger Band here. Or if you just draw some upper lines on these two wicks right here, you probably get a level support, maybe a nice retest on that support. But don't let this winner become a loser. That's the biggest thing here. It's forecasted data, not too shabby. The only thing here real concern, earnings per share. This is forecasted earnings per share. It's not what you're going to see in your broker. Our data provider is the NASDAQ directly, but the 12-month leading forecast of EPS is negative, right? So I will take that into consideration. And on top of that, we got the sales growth rate declining. Still good though. Growth rate forecasted data 20% respectively. I like this stock. Treat it like a momentum play, right? It's making you money if you're in it right now. Wouldn't be too concerned about selling it unless it broke those levels of support, right at these tips here of these two candlesticks. Treat that as a zone. Now, if we take a look at the next position, we got GFI. This is my favorite chart pattern, right? Look at this. Undervalued stock, price action on the rise, value on the rise. That's what I like to see in this type of market. Why overthink it, right? Did a short yesterday. Old tricks are not working that well. You got to, get away from just the nvidia, just the SMCIs. We're going to get to those in just a moment because I know, some bottom fishing opportunities are presenting themselves as well. But this, look at full-bodied candlestick just hit a new 6-month high. Momentum is there. Earnings on the rise. Growth rate, sales growth rate, 17%, 33%. Hey, I see why mining sector is hot right now, right? Why fight the market? Why fight what's working in the market, right? Now, here's Orla Mining. I've said this before. We got a little trend line here to the top, and you can see it actually played out pretty well. Retested that trend line. We are now approaching that trend line, right? I already know it's got my favorite chart pattern. Value on the rise, price action on the rise, gold, silver, good place to be right now. Nice momentum with the uncertainty in the market. Hey, if you're not in Orla, if you missed this opportunity already, see what it does at this trend line. If we get another level of resistance here, another pullback, hey, it might present another buying opportunity when it comes to gold. With geopolitical concerns, tariffs right now, I don't see gold slowing down anytime soon in 2025. Yes, there might be little dips along the way, but for me personally, I think gold's going to do pretty well this year, and it's the safe play. So if you want to be safer in this market, these are the type of stocks you want to look for. Now, if we get above this trend line, right, we break it, that's showing momentum continuing for the bulls. Just look for the retest on this trend line. I'd want to see price action stay above this trend line here to get a good sense of momentum to the upside. Now, as far as forecasted data, all looks good, all rising over the last 6 months, respectively. 38% in growth rate, sales growth rate, 65% for a mining company. That's a lot. That's a good amount right there. So I like that company a lot. I know there's been a lot of chatter when it comes to Orla Gold. I can see exactly why. Now, this same scenario, right? I got a trend line here. We can see we're approaching that now. But honestly, we've got a gap there, right? And it just approached the fast lane. So you've got to about $13 and some change there. Right now we're at $12.37. A nice pickup, full body candlestick, all the moving averages, the technicals in our favor right now for the bulls. Actually just got into the fast lane. Now we're actually pretty comfortable sitting in that lane. So this is another stock, if you don't want to wait for the bottom fishing, you don't want to wait for the tech, you don't want to take that risk. This is what's working right now, right? As long as you got a good stop on there, some basic technical analysis, you should do pretty well. We've got forecasted earnings per share on the rise, growth rate declining, sales growth rate, pretty flat. It took a dip, but it is starting to rise again. Respectively, you're talking almost 30% in both categories, 29 for growth rate and earnings, and then 27% growth rate in sales. So again, another nice momentum play here. Obviously, if we take out that prior high, that's going to be, the follow through or the conviction you're really looking for if you're not already in this position. If you're in it, hey, all the technicals just became in our favor over the last few trading days. So why would I rush to sell it now, right? Now it's making me money. So let's take a look at the next stock here. We've got EXK. This stock here, look at it. Value just started tiptoeing to the upside. Price action just started tiptoeing. So that favorite chart pattern I'm talking about, hey, it's the beginning of that right now. Look, buy ratings coming in, right? All this downside action here, not a whole lot going on. But look at silver. I talked about it yesterday. It's like gold, right? It's a safe place to be with uncertain times in this market. I'm not surprised at all that it's working out pretty well. And you see RT relative timing, did get in favorable territory, a little wishy-washy there, but now it's actually, pretty strong. RT coming at 1.72. This thing's got momentum behind it. Forecasted data, 37. Not as pretty as some of the other ones, but as far as the chart setup here, you're kind of buying on the dip when it comes to the silver right now. So again, just like gold, honestly, I think silver might outperform gold. I'm not going to stick to that. I'm no silver expert. But just everything out there with the news right now, silver looks like a hot place to be, and I just want to put this on your radar. That's what's working now. And, you're not bottom fishing necessarily, but you're not buying at the top, and it's got momentum in the current market, and it just started my favorite pattern. All this technicals, just went favorable. This one I put on your radar, right? And as far as the primary wave situation, waiting for that to go up, these silver companies, these gold companies, even petroleum, that's not going to be like the general market right now. We're seeing a lot of, these commodity driven, the foreign banks kind of hedging, the current market scenario. So if tech comes roaring back and the market comes roaring back and the tariffs go away, whatever happens, these may not do so well, right? So, just keep that in mind. This is what's working currently right now. Now, as far as the next position, we got New Golding, another gold stock. Look, a lot of consolidation, a lot of sideways movement here. If I just draw some horizontal lines, you can see the consolidation for the most part. Look, just broke out to the upside of the channel. NGD Gold. Put this on your list. Look, value on the rise. Price action just broke out of the channel. Forecasted data all above 30% here, 38, 32 on the rise. This actually, of all the gold stocks, this is just starting a great chart formation. The value on the rise, technicals just started. All of these stocks are presenting some good opportunities right now. So, if the tech trade doesn't unfold the way it is, getting to some of these, in the meantime, to hold us over until we get to the bottom fishing part in tech, hopefully in the near future, not a bad idea, right? I said it yesterday on the live stream. I'm more confident in the dip in gold yesterday, which actually worked out pretty well, than I was in the the technology space, the tech stocks, right? It's all riding on that nvidia conference next week, which we'll see what that does. I don't think that's going to give as much enthusiasm as many people like. It might stop the bleeding a little bit, but I don't think it's going to create that rally that some people might be thinking. We'll see. Obviously quantum, it's going to play a huge role in quantum. We'll see what happens there. But valuation, look, stock is undervalued. Again, another this is Eagle Mines, another mining, gold, silver, AEM. Momentum's here, and it's all just starting right now, right? I mean, obviously, it's got a 6-month high, but as far as the moving averages, as far as getting the fast lane, we're seeing another, bullish trend just develop over the last few trading sessions. Forecasted data looks good on this stock. In the next position, we've got Banco. This is a foreign bank. I talked about this a few weeks ago. This is like the silver and gold, right? This is what's working in the market. You can see the trends of these type of positions going up during this market uncertainty, right? So these are the stocks you want to be in until the bottom fishing, presents itself. But as far as this position, price action on the rise, value on the rise, right? Now I'm going to do a horizontal line, probably about right here, this upper wick. We're seeing, I would use this as my stop or a level support here. We're seeing the momentum of the bulls slow down a little bit. We had that gap down. We're not in the fast lane right now. If you're a trader, wait for this to get back in the fast lane, right? Because if this type of trade is unfolding, right now, that's not the time to buy it, right? So let's make sure that this trade is not unfolding. Get back in the fast lane. But as far as the moving averages, the 3 and the 8, they're converging. That's why I'm saying, wait a little bit, especially if you're not in the position. If you are in the position, obviously your stop, is a personal decision. I would utilize this 20-day EMA personally, just because, we've got a little buffer zone here. It's doing well, keeping us in the trade so far. So why, ruin a good thing, right? As far as the forecasted data, 10, 4, nothing spectacular there. But what I do like, look, earnings per share, 0.87. Earnings is on the rise. this is a good stock. I like the Banco here. This is going to be my stop right here, this 618. Treat it like a zone, give it a little buffer zone here, but don't let this winner become a loser. Especially if you bought it a couple weeks ago when I was talking about foreign banks. You're up quite a bit right now. Don't let those profits go to waste. Here we've got Varen. This is a petroleum company. Again, these stocks are resorted by RT, right? So the ones with the best price trend is at the top of the list. That's what I was saying. Commodities, petroleum, foreign entities. That's what's working right now. This stock undervalued, just became overvalued. But look at this 200-day moving average, right? You see that? We're seeing some resistance, some rejection close to that 200-day. If you're not in the stock, and for confirmation, get above that 200-day moving average. Now, as far as the short-term indicators, 3, 8, Bollinger Bands, the 20, that's all in our favor right now, right? So as far as a short-term trade, no real reason for concern right now. But as far as an investment, hey, this isn't a bad stock to be in. Petroleum's not bad. As far as an investment, I will say it's overvalued right now. There are some undervalued ones. But if you want to trade, you want some momentum right now, this isn't a bad stock to have at all. It's got the buy rating here, RT relative timing. It has been above 1 now for quite some time. A little, wishy-washy here, but you're seeing that RT starting to climb up. Now at 1.55, so the momentum is in the favor of the bulls right now. Now, I will say this, earnings per share on the decline. The forecasted earnings per share. Growth rate on the decline. Sales growth rate on the decline. So, more of a trade, less of an investment. That's what I think about this company. Now here's Equinox. Look, this is a pretty chart. Value, lower left, upper right. Price action, a lot of consolidation here. If I just use the horizontal line, I'm going to go right here. Yep, touch, touch. Support, now we're retesting that, bouncing off. You want confirmation, wait for it to get in the fast lane, right? You're not buying at a high. So, hey, this stock, I like this a lot. My stop is going to be around 647. I might lower that a little bit here, just give you a little buffer zone, maybe 632, somewhere in that range. If it drops much below this, hey, the trade is over. And that's probably not just going to be for this company, but gold and silver in general, right? But as of right now, you can either wait to take out the prior high or get in the fast lane. But all the technicals just became in our favor. And look at this forecasted data. Compared to the others, look at 39%, 93% in the sales growth rate. All of the forecasted is rising over the last 6 months. I actually like this company. It looks like a nice trade setup here as well. Even an investment, that company. This one here, tradable and an investment as well. Look, value, undervalued. A lot of consolidation here. We've seen that with some of these stocks. You could see the channel here clearly. Breakout, got right back into the channel, but now it just broke out to the channel once again. The bulls want to take the stock over. You can see that right here. Nice bullish candlestick today, full bodied there. Forecasted data on the rise. Sales growth rate 274. Whew. This is an investment, and look at the trade setup on the technicals. So clearly it's good for the swing traders as well in this current market scenario. Here we've got Bud, Anheuser-Busch. My first warning, obviously the 3 and 8 are rolling over. Look at this 200-day moving average. I would not be surprised if we got a retest here. Just being honest, right? If we break that 200-day and that 20-day EMA is right there too. Nice levels of support here. So I would expect it to retest, maybe a nice pivot off there. But if it breaks that 20-day EMA or the 200-day EMA and you're in this position, I would get defensive. And look at this. There's a gap here to fill as well. Ooh, interesting. This company is overvalued. The earnings per share is flat. Growth rate's at 3. Sales growth rate at -1. I'm going to be honest with you. This is not the stock for me. I don't want to be in this stock right now. I don't really like this. Even for the traders, it's rolling over. I got a gap to fill here. A lot of concern. There's just a lot of better stocks on this list. So as far as Budweiser, that's not going to make my shopping list. Now here we've got CCU, Campania, Sir ADR. This is a food company here. It's ADR, so it's it's got to be foreign. It's a beverage alcoholic company. Look at the valuation on that, taking off like a rocket. The company was overvalued quite a bit, but now the company's undervalued. Technicals are in our favor. Hey, I like this position. Let me go back to a year here. Yeah, look at that. Big, almost looks like a cup. Big cup formation here. We might be getting the handle right now. So let's zoom back in a 6-month time span. But overall, I like this company. We're seeing a lot of good technicals here in our favor above the Bollinger Bands. As long as price action stays above that 20-day EMA, I'd write it out for the momentum traders. As far as investments, as far as investors in general here, earnings per share is on the decline. We got 57%. Not a bad investment. Sales growth rate was negative. Earnings growth rate was negative, but now it's positive. It is climbing like a rocket. Valuation climbing like a rocket. This company I like the enthusiasm with our valuation, because our valuation is stringent. It's the same formula on every stock. It's very stringent, and to see that jump there, I like that a lot. Now here we've got iShares MCSI. This is a European financial, European banks essentially. Foreign banks, European equities have done really well, against the American equities for sure. You can see that, since January, the beginning of the year, again, this has been the trade, foreign entities and commodities, right? That trade is still working out. We can see it did fall below the fast lane here. So if you want to purchase a stock, I want the position to get back in the fast lane. If you're in it, hey, as long as it stays above that 20-day EMA, we saw a retest here. If you want to, wait for the dip, it's a down day today. Wouldn't be in a rush to buy it. See what it does at that 20-day EMA. If you get a nice little pivot, a nice bottom wick here, it might be another retest, right? Just stay disciplined, put a tight stop on it, and that could be a great trade as well. The forecasted data is non-existent. This is an ETF, obviously. Relative timing, hey, it's in favorable territory. Again, this is momentum trade. This isn't one of the bottom fishing ones. So, it's not a bad looking setup here. Again, I think, as far as that 20-day EMA, see what it does. It's a down day today. No rush on the banks right now if you're not already in the trade. But if you are, hey, momentum's still there, right? Here we've got Rolls-Royce Aerospace and Defense. Look at the valuation on the decline steadily over the last 6 months. It's aerospace and defense. It's a hot space right now, outside of, commodities and banks, foreign entities. Aerospace and defense is hot, right? If we take a look at the forecasted data, look, earnings per share on the decline, growth rate and earnings on the decline, sales growth rate on the decline. I can't get behind this as far as an investment. But as far as a momentum trade, I like what I see here. And as long as it stays above that 20-day EMA, I'm happy with it. And right now, if you even got in, it's a down day today, probably not the best day to get in. $10, that is above 950. You're looking at about 5-10% stop would be appropriate for this position at this time. Here we've got Spider Gold shares. Again, the gold stocks are hot. So this is an ETF. So if you don't want to go into an individual, gold stock, you want to play the space a little safer, you got GLD here, right? And this does trade options, so you can always sell, some premiums against it if that's something that you're interested in. But just hit a new high. Look at that. That's a full-bodied candlestick. Just got into the fast lane. The moving averages all went in our favor just a few days ago. So early technical trade setup, is in the works here. Now, as far as RTT, it's got 1.33. Think about it. Scales on 0 to 2, right? So the closer you get to 2, it's a parabolic move, and it's unsustainable, right? Here, we've got some room to run, and we just broke out from that prior high. So the RT is not too overextended. So I like this position in general, right? You see the 200-day moving average way down here, so I'm not too worried about that at this time. Now, if we take a look at TUR, this is the Turkey foreign ETF here. Foreign entities doing pretty well. You can see at the beginning of the year, pretty rough, but overall, look, the momentum is there. I actually like this quite a bit. If we use a horizontal line, we are right at the gap fill here. We got a level of resistance coming in. I'm going to put the top of this right at the high here. So we're in the zone. See if we get any rejection here, but we're looking at about 37.84. I mean, we're pretty much there right now. We're about to get in the zone. If you're in the position, if you get some rejection here, hey, taking some off the table, especially if you bought down here, not mad at it at all. But if you want some conviction, to see if this thing can run any further, see what price action does around 38.37. If we break this level in strong volume, that might be a good entry point, showing us that the stock has room to run. Now, here's Halo Therapeutic Company. Again, I like the stocks you guys are giving me. Value on the rise. Price action on the rise. Kind of a bottom fishing opportunity here. If I zoom out to 1 year, yeah, you're not buying quite at the high. I could see some resistance coming in here. Yep, right here. You can see these touches on this level here. The wick. And if I put another line, probably right about here. You can see that's right where that wick is. So let me zoom back in. The resistance is coming in around 63.28 to about 62.12. We're getting rejection there, right? So if you're in this position, if you've been in it, hey, protect profits. It's still above the 20-day EMA, so I haven't lost hope. If you're not in this position, I want to see it break above this level of resistance, right? I don't want to buy a stock right at resistance level. That usually doesn't work out too well. So that being said, growth rate on the rise. So again, I see this company as an investment, because it's undervalued. The forecasted data looks good. But even as a trade setup, the trade is almost to us. Let the trade come to us. Don't rush it. Now, let's see here. We got NVX. Again, value starting to creep up. Price action has been creeping up. Moving averages in our favor. We got a gap here. Looks like we filled the gap. Now we're trying to get back out of that gap. Get above this Bollinger Band. The Bollinger Band, the upper band comes in at 1830. Right now we're at 1759. So if you want to wait for some confirmation on the technical perspective, get in the fast lane above that Bollinger Band. It's about $1 away. RT relative timing. This is what I don't like. If we take a look at RT relative timing, you can see the trend is in our favor, but the momentum of that trend is starting to wane here. That's what I'm saying. Wait for a little bit of confirmation. We're right on that 20-day EMA. It has been a level of support, several times here. We saw some consolidation on that 20-day EMA. Give it some time, right? If you're in it, hey, you can probably just draw a nice trend line right here. Gives you a little bit of leeway right at the 20-day EMA, but draw a nice trend line there to capture profits. Now, as far as the forecasted data, EPS on the rise, growth rate took a dip, but coming back. Sales growth rate on the rise, 88 and 21% respectively. I like what I see here. Now, next up, we got Barclays. This is a popular stock in the comment section. Look at this. Value just keeps rocking and roaring. Not a sell recommendation in sight. This is a great investment, especially with the uncertain times in the market right now. I'm not mad at it at all. But again, the confirmed call is down. So anything you buy, above, before that primary wave, before that confirmed call, very aggressive in nature. There could still be some downside potential in this market. So let the trade come to you. But this one, if you nibbled at it on the dip here, probably not too mad at it. Again, it did just break that 20-day EMA. So just have some patience. Let the price action get above there. And more importantly, especially for my traders, let it get above this Bollinger Band here. This thing might have some more room to run if the bulls decide to come back and we can get back above that Bollinger Band. Here's Flowtech. This one I've been watching for a little bit. Look at this. We got a nice ascending channel, right? We saw a level of support here, broke that. Looks like a wedge pattern right here. But if we notice, look, nice bottom fishing opportunity presenting itself. The moving averages are in our favor. Right now is a down day. If we can get a candlestick close above this Bollinger Band, showing us in the fast lane, hey, I like it for the traders. Even for an investment perspective, look at this. Values on the rise. We value the company at $12.51, only trading at $8.68 right now. RT relative timing just becoming in our favor. Forecasted data looks good. So this meets both criteria for both the trade setup and the investment. Just have some patience. It's a down day today. Even though it got the buy rating with the market volatility right now, have some patience. If you want some real confirmation, 921, right? We want to get above around this zone. We've got several touches on the zone here. So look around 921, see what price action does. Because as of right now, it looks like it's rejecting that level of resistance. Here's TPL, Texas Packland. This is a petroleum company. Look, it's way overvalued. Price action not doing much of anything right now. Down day to day. Forecasted data all looks good. But as far as the company itself, even if I just drew a simple trend line here, you could see we're approaching this trend line right now. If it breaks below this trend line, if you're in this position, hey, I would mitigate risk, protect whatever profits you may have. But I'm not here right now. I'd have to see a nice pivot off this trend line, get back above this Bollinger Band here. That would show me momentums to the upside, and I'd be much more comfortable getting into this stock. Here we've got EFOI, Energy Focus is a building company. Big gap up here. Look, you can see, look, it's a clear chart pattern forming here. 221, a lot of consolidation. If you're in it, stay above that 20-day EMA. If it cuts below that 20-day EMA, protect profits. You see the trend line right here. We'll probably get some volatility over the next, trading days, maybe a week or so because of this tightening of consolidation, right? It's looking for a breakout. So look at the pivot, see where it pivots, and get some follow through, and this might actually work out for another good trade setup. As far as the forecasted data here, sales growth rate's negative. Earnings growth rate, 13%. Company's way overvalued. So yeah, I'm not here for an investment. This is a trade setup. The trade setup looks like it's going to be occurring, relatively soon. Have some patience there. Here we've got ASTS. Look at this. Nice pivot off that 200-day moving average. As of right now, looks like it might want to retest it. It just broke the 20-day EMA. If you are in this stock, boom, right here, right? If you're looking to do any kind of bottom fishing with this position, look right here, or if it breaks this, look for the pivot, right? But with the moving averages all went in a bearish manner, and we're hugging that bottom Bollinger Band as well right now. It'd be very dangerous to pull the trigger on this. Have some patience. Look for the pivot either at 2471 around this area here, or the 200-day moving average. This is telecom company. Here's Otis Worldwide. This is a building company. Building's been pretty hot, but I do not like this upper wick. And look, this upper wick came in right around here. Level of resistance is in place here. I'm not a fan of it. You know, the 20 price action currently sitting on that 20-day EMA. I wouldn't be surprised if it attempted to touch this 200-day moving average again. We will see. Look for the pivot before buying this position. If you want confirmation, though, you're looking probably closer to 106 for a close. And I want to see a nice full body candlestick. I want to see strong volume. I don't want to see any signs of rejection when buying this company. Now, as far as the forecasted data, nothing spectacular. It is positive, though. 12% on the earnings, 2% on the growth rate of sales. As far as the EPS, it's on the rise. That's what I like to see. I like to see a nice, steady, stair-step fashion. The company making more money, right? That's always good for the stock price. Here we've got RTX, Aerospace and Defense. Defense companies, generally over the last, couple months, beginning of the year, they've been hot. You see price action rising with this. Now, look, price action just got back above that 20-day EMA. I mean, it's pretty consolidated. I know the graph is a little skewed here because of value. The company's way overvalued. So we'll go take this off. But look, price action is in our favor for the bulls, right? The first more aggressive confirmation levels, 3,820 there. I'm seeing a nice pivot off that 20-day EMA. If you're not already in the stock, hey, wait for it to go in the fast lane here. This upper Bollinger Band. That's only a couple bucks away at 130, right? 130.50. So $1 away. Not much there at all. Nice full body candlestick. Honestly, by the time you're watching this, this stock might already qualify for a good buy. It is aerospace and defense. So this is one of the spaces that's currently working right now, right? As we get to the bottom of this list, that's going to be where the losers come in. That's going to be where the real bottom fishing comes in. Now, here's PSIX Power Solutions. Easiest trade setup here. Draw a trend line. From this candlestick to here, boom. As long as price action stays above that trend line, easy money. But right now, all the moving averages, all the technicals, bearish right now. It's pretty close. Another day or two to the upside. Hey, a lot of this can turn around. This might actually be a really good trade setup. Again, I would just keep it simple with a nice trend line here on these two candlesticks. Keep you on the right side of the trade going forward. Now, as far as the RT relative timing, right? The trend was unfavorable. We're finally in positive territory here at 1.08. Therefore, it's giving me some optimism on this position in the short term. Forecasted data, 34.9%. Hey, I can live with that. Earnings per share on the rise. I like what I see here. This is not a bad stock. It's machinery. So if you're overweighted in tech, if you're overweighted in your portfolio, and you don't have one of these type of companies, this is not a bad stock to consider. Now, if we take a look here, we've got an oil company. It's petroleum. Again, petroleum, it's an interesting trade, right? I see the momentum with it right now. I like what I see. Down day to day. Not going to be in a rush to buy it. I'd probably wait, honestly, till yesterday's high, this candlestick here, which stopped right at that Bollinger Band, surpassed that, which would put me in the fast lane. Petroleum right now is more of a momentum trade. And as far as any kind of target here, that 200-day moving average, every time price action gets up to that 200-day moving average, it's typically short-lived, right? So again, I don't have a crystal ball, but historically things like to repeat themselves. So somewhere around that 200-day moving average, see what price action does. Probably not a bad idea to take some profits off the table if you do get in this position. Now, as far as RT relative timing, oil pretty, not that hot here, this stock. A lot of the momentum's been to the downside, clearly shown in the chart. There's a lot of other oil stocks, petroleum stocks there that are giving me more optimism. And as far as the, the forecasted data, I can live with it, 25, 10% respectively. Again, that's not a bad stock. Just have some patience. I want to get above yesterday's high. In addition to that, get back into the fast lane. And as far as a target, just see what price action does around this 200-day moving average. Here's ExxonMobil, price action below the 200-day moving average. I don't like this consolidation here. Pretty much treat it like a channel. There's the bottom of your channel. There's the clear top of your channel. If I use a horizontal line, that's going to be my confirmation level, around 112. As far as forecasted data, not pretty at all. Here we've got PNRG. Price action, nice lower left, upper right, kind of buying on the dip here. Petroleum, this looks better than the other petroleum stocks. Still above its 200-day moving average. Just got above the 20-day EMA in the fast lane, down day to day like some of the others. So again, not the day to buy it. But if I see any further momentum to the upside, not a bad momentum trade. As far as forecasted data, it looks really good. 29%, 89%. I like what I see here. Micron Technology. No, this is not a pretty chart at all with the semiconductors. Now we're getting more into the bottom fishing as we're getting down the list. You know, if you want some confirmation with this, that's my line. You can see 114, you know, rejection, 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 rejection. Actually, boom. That's the trend line, right? If I fix that up a little bit, just draw a nice trend line on there. Look at the 200-day moving average. If I'm in it, hey, guess what? Or if you're a short-term trader, yeah, you know, maybe play it up to the upside. See what it does. That's going to be my target somewhere in there. That 200 days around 105, right? If you see rejection, hey, take some profits. If you see a clear break, that sucker might just run a little bit. Again, this is Micron. Forecasted data, spectacular. We all know about Micron. Great company here. This actually does not look like a bad bottom fishing idea at all. And look, there's the bottom of the channel. You can see the channel here. First thing I want to do is break that trend line to the upside. I'm going to put my stop, you know, around 85. That's, you know, less than 10% on a $96 stock here. Because if it breaks below this channel, you know, with conviction, it could go down pretty far, you know, depending on what the market is doing. But if we look at the valuation here, hey, for investors, this does not look bad at all. For my traders, you know the setup here. Even for the investors, you know, probably wait for that trade setup to begin, right? Now, if we take a look, we got some more stocks going. SMCI, so these are going to be the more the bottom fishing stocks here. Clear, you know, downtrend. We all know what's going on with SMCI. But look, valuation is now rising. Price action now rising. It's below the 200-day. That's what I mentioned, you know, last, you know, a week or two ago when we got above there. You know, look at what it does around that 200-day. Clear break above it, clear break below it, right? Right now, it's $40.03. I'm not here right now, but I like this trade setup. If you're in the stock, just draw a nice freehand line. Look at that. Boom. As long as that price action stays above that trend line, I'm going to be more optimistic. Look, forecasted data, it's phenomenal. It's SMCI. We know the only concern here is the accounting irregularities, but it looks like most of that is behind the stock right now. I haven't seen any negative news on it, but, you know, just keep your ear out in case anything happens. Again, down day today, so don't rush in it. If you are in it, use this trend line. Stay disciplined, right? We're already below the 20-day EMA with today's price action. Now we've got Prudent Financial. Look, bottom fishing, but look at valuation. Took a huge leap up to the upside. I do see value on the decline, price action on the decline. I don't like that. A rollover in earnings per share, a rollover in earnings growth rate. The sales growth rate's negative 17%. So again, you know, with the momentum to the downside right now, there's the prior low. So let's just use a horizontal line. We're sitting right there. So either we're going to get a pivot really soon or there's some more downside pain, right? So if you're in this position and you're just taking losses, I'd be getting defensive, right? You know, mitigate that risk because if we hit a new low, this thing could keep dropping. But as far as an investment, yes, I get the perspective. You know, it's undervalued, but the stock hasn't done anything in the last year. It's actually down from where it was a year ago. So as far as an investment, anything like that, I'm not I wouldn't really rush into this position by any means. Because I've seen the insurance, I've done some insurance videos. There's definitely better stock picks out there in the insurance space. Just a heads up, you know, if you got the software, go to that sector, go to that industry, and you can see, you know, better options to choose from. Here's Apple, right? Apple way overvalued. All the tech companies that are overvalued, they've been getting pummeled. 212 down day to day. This is the level of support. I had a zone, just broke to the downside of that zone. Hold off on Apple right now. I want to be in a rush to buy. And look at this. Apple just got a sell rating as of today, the first time in quite some time here. My next level of support is going to come in around 198. Treat it like a zone, right? Treat it like a zone. If we get a nice pivot around this level, hey, I'm happy with that. But the stock is just overvalued. Growth rate, sales growth rate, 84%. Yeah, I'm not really here for Apple. I think there's other big tech out there, and we'll get to that when we get to those charts. Google, this is going to be the one right here I was talking about. The valuation, undervalued. I'd rather be in an undervalued Mag 7 stock than an overvalued one. Even though, you know, the momentum's to the downside. I know it's below the 200-day. I'm looking around 152, right? You know, if we don't stop the pain soon, I could see this going down to these levels and finding a nice, strong level of support here. But yeah, Google, that's a great investment here. 165. It's a down day today, so don't rush to buy this stock, right? You know, wait for the market timing signal, at least a primary wave up or something. I don't want you to get burned. And if we look at the growth rate, earnings, sales growth rate, for a big cap company, 20, 12% respectively, not bad at all. Now here's nvidia. So everyone wants to talk about nvidia. Here we go. We got 3 months All these trend lines, my level here, all saying around $100, right where that low is, right? If I extend it, boom, pretty close, right? And look, it jumped up, hit this level of resistance, right? If investors aren't enthused, and if their event next week can't bring enthusiasm back into the semiconductor space, I see this as short-lived, and it's probably going to find its way back down to $100, right? But if there's some optimism, more so, with the tariffs, if we get some, optimism with tariffs next week, along with the nvidia event, that's going to be a recipe for success. And look, our valuation is at 151. That's not a price target. That's just what we feel the stock is worth right now. So if you're trying to bottom fish nvidia, anything closer to $100 is better. I wouldn't be in a rush to buy it today by any means. Right at this level of resistance here. And you see we're getting rejection from that. We got a down candlestick today. And it's nvidia. Look, growth rate in earnings, 43%. Sales growth rate, 78%. If you're going to take, little nibbles along the way, closer to $100 with nvidia, I can't be mad at it. I really can't. So it's a great company. It's not going anywhere. But again, that's my concern, that, the fruition, all that hype from the event next week is going to be lackluster. And, if there's more bad news with the tariffs coming out, this thing could easily go to $100. And if it breaks 100, we're talking the 90s. But in the long term, if you get your dollar cost average of NVIDIA close to $100, you'll probably do pretty well, right? Especially for my investors, in the long term, right? So as far as, the momentum traders, see, look at this 20-day EMA. Let's get above that 20-day EMA before we get too optimistic in the short term, right? Now, here's Meta. Big down day for Meta. 593. It's undervalued, right? If I scroll back, this was the breakout I was looking for. Now, as far as any kind of level of support here, we could probably get something around here. Or where's this 200-day moving average? Yeah, a lot of consolidation around here. I wouldn't be surprised if it hit its 200-day moving average. To be honest, it's at 593 right now. Big down day today, but the stock is undervalued. Look at the forecasted data for a big cap company. This is phenomenal, right? These big cap companies, get your shopping list ready. But I'm thinking, was it around 570? Right now it's 593. If you can get in close to 570, hey, unless the market just really crashes, that's probably going to be a great price for Meta going forward. Now, if we take a look at Amazon here, again, I got my mom in Amazon quite a bit. We were in that descending channel. We broke this level of support here. I'll be honest. Yeah, I'm going to do a horizontal line about right here. Amazon might be finding a level of support soon. Actually, about right here. It's around 190. We see that Amazon was overvalued, but look what it's doing. It's getting right back to its valuation. So if you're not in Amazon and you want to get an Amazon in a good deal, have some patience. What are value at? 188 right now, it's a 193. In this volatile market, Amazon could be undervalued any day now. So just have some patience. Worst case scenario, I'm looking around 161, 156. Okay, but I do like Amazon overall. It's a game-changing stock, right? It's like Google. It's like nvidia. Now here we've got Sprouts Farmers Retail. Look, if I do get in an overvalued stock, this is overvalued, right? Price value. I want to see value on the rising, just like price action. Both are doing it, right? So if I'm in an overvalued stock, this is kind of the pattern I want to look for. Now, if we see here, I got two sell ratings flashing, right? One back to back, and it's a down day today. Hey, I'm not here for it. That 200-day moving average, around 118, and that's where our valuation is, right? So if you're a trader, see what it does. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a pivot closer to that 200-day moving average, and if you're an investor, and we get a pivot and the stock is fairly valued with rising forecasted data, not a bad investment. And it's food, retail food. So if you need to, again, diversify outside of just, the big tech names, this is not a bad stock to put on your shopping list ready. See what happens here in the near future. Now we've got Access Financial. Look at value on the decline, price action on the decline, broke its 200-day moving average. Protect yourself here. Protect yourself. This is a multi-regional bank here, Axos Bank. I can't get behind it, mitigate risk at this time. So this was the trade. Obviously, I was looking at it before. We got the consolidation, break up, nice retest, boom, to the upside, right? Look at this big upper wick. I don't like that. We were never able to get back to the upper wick, and it broke its 20-day EMA. This was the trade, right? When I talked about Access Financial back in the fall. Yeah, October, November. Sounds about right. But now, if you're still in it and you lost all that profits, you're going down. The trade has become emotional. I can't tell you what to do, but sometimes you just got to cut your losses and, regroup, right? Now, as far as, any kind of bottom fishing opportunities here, that's the line. Boom, we're approaching it. So, yeah, if you see a pivot here in the near future and you want to take a nibble, I'm not mad at it at all. Here's Fortinet Inc. Value on the rise, price action on the rise, steep sell-off here. Some levels of support, I'd look in right around this zone here. You're looking around 83, 85. So yeah, I see some more downside action potentially here. See if we get a nice pivot. And actually that's close to the 200-day moving average. So I wouldn't mind if this thing, piddled around a little bit, brought this 200-day moving average in this zone. So that way if price action comes back down, we got a lot of reasons for a nice retest and a nice bounce to the upside. And look, it's software security. This is, very well-known company. Growth rate, sales growth rate, forecasted data, all looks good on the rise, double digits. I like what I see here. Now here's CrowdStrike. Sell ratings are given right on that 200-day moving average. And we got down day today. Hey, there could definitely be more damage ahead. Be careful there. Stock is way overvalued. And all the tech companies that are way overvalued, they're getting pummeled right now. Value's on the decline. I'm just not here for it. I can't get behind the stock at this time. Here's PayPal. Clear break below that 200-day moving average. Got up to $90. You know what? I don't like PayPal at all. My mom is in PayPal. I've tried to get her to sell it. She's had it for years. I mean, look at the earnings per share growth rate. It was ahead of its curve. Now it is not, right? It's not an industry disruptor anymore. You've got all these other financial services out there, for the new age. That's way better than PayPal. So I'm just not here for it at all. Look, the forecasted data, 2-4%. Nope, not here. Here's AMD, descending chain. I've been talking about this a while. If you could accumulate AMD between 96 and 107, anything sub 100, not mad at it. But if it gets, back below $96, this could easily go to the low 90s to about $86 to $87. So just be careful of that. But if you're accumulating it, the last time I talked about this stock was around $100. Obviously, that was a while ago. But the stock is undervalued. It's kind of like an nvidia right now. It's undervalued. It's in a downtrend. Let the industry come to you. These semis like to move together, right? We're going to see some optimism here. But the stock is down overall over the last 12 months. So I'm not here right now, but it's getting close. And look at this. If I actually extend, let me zoom in 3 months. Extend this down a little bit more. Yeah, we're getting another rejection here, right? So just have some patience. I've been talking about AMD for a while. That's probably going to be a great trade setup. When the trade setup happens, I'm going to put the short out. Here's CRM, Salesforce. Look at brand new 3-month low, 272. All the momentum's to the downside. For my investors, the stock is finally undervalued. And if I use that horizontal line, we could probably find a level of support around here, around 267, 272. This is a dip I wouldn't mind buying. Obviously, the market right now, I'd wait for some enthusiasm, but the stock is now undervalued. This is Salesforce, very well-known company. It's not going anywhere. Growth rate and sales growth rate are on the decline. That would be my concern, but I do like that this company is now undervalued. I do like that a lot. Here's MAP Technology. This is actually one of my picks. Value on the rise, price action starting to roll over, but if I use a horizontal line, we're close there. We're at 114 right now. We're at 117. I'd like to see price action find a level of support here. And right below it's that 200-day, 110. So about 110 to 114. If we see a pivot there and some follow through, this could actually be a great stock to have on your list as well. It's a penny stock. It's software. So for my more aggressive investors, or investors that like low price stocks, this is definitely one to have on your radar. Here we've got KKR and Company Financials. Steep sell-off. Other than the stock being undervalued right now, that's one reason why I would definitely put it on your radar. But other than that, forecasted data is on the decline. Sales growth rate on the decline. Negative 53% on the sales growth rate. Nope, can't get behind it right now. And we're approaching this new low, right? So we're very close to that. We could be hitting a new low if there's any more bearish momentum to the downside. Now, as I scroll down, we got SoFi. Look at that, 20-day. Nice retest of that 200-day moving average, a little pivot off of it, but not a whole lot of follow through. We're getting a bearish engulfing candlestick today. See what it does around this 200-day moving average. Now, as far as this forecasted data, we got earnings per share on the rise, growth rate and earnings on the rise, sales growth rate pretty flat right now, so it's not bad there. But you can see the RT. I'd have to see the RT tick up some more. Wait for the trend become in our favor. The stock was at $18. Now it's at $11. The 20-day EMA is just below 14. So wait for some confirmation. It's a little early. You're catching a falling knife right now with SoFi. Here's CCL, Carnival Corp. Value on the rise, price action on the rise. I like this. Nice rollover. You know what? Let's get price action above that 200-day moving average before we get too optimistic about this position. Here's MicroStrategy, hugging that 200-day moving average. Several touches there. Wait for these technicals to get in your favor if you plan on trading it, or just, get in the fast lane for the momentum traders. Now, as far as investors, when it comes to this is, a Bitcoin play here. So if you're not conservative, you don't believe in crypto, definitely not the stock for you. If you do believe in crypto, as long as it stays above that 200-day moving average, I'd be optimistic, right? Now, here's the triple Qs coming at 58.28. It's not there. I mean, this is the Qs. Again, the market is down today. Big bearish candlestick today. I can't get behind it at this time. But if if the market starts turning around, you want to leverage the ETF to play the Qs, TQQQ is a great way to play that space, right? Now, we've got Modine, manufacturing. Wait for it to get above that 20-day EMA and potentially some follow-through. We got rejection here. It is undervalued, so as far as an investment perspective, yeah, I get why you might like this stock. But if we go out to 1 year, the company is lower than it was a year ago, right? So just be careful there. But I do like the valuation. I do like the price action. Just the momentum. There's a lot of momentum to the downside. So if you're not a trader and you don't want to look at your portfolio all the time, this is probably not the stock for you. Here we've got Arista Networks. I like this a lot. Look, it's almost to its valuation perspective here. Did break that 200-day moving average. Wait to see that 3 get back above the 8. We'd probably get a primary wave or something like that. Wait for a little bit more optimism. I like the stock a lot. Rising earnings, growth rate 22%, sales growth rate 25%. If I use a horizontal line here, I'm going to probably go right around this area. Probably around $89, treat it like a zone. Yep, because we got a bottom touch there. Definitely above 92. Right now it's at 80. So if we can get it, that's going to be the level of support here. So if you're going to do some bottom fishing here, I'd probably cut it off around 75, somewhere in there. Put a pretty tight stop on it. Forecasted data, it's in the 20s. So yeah, I could see why this would be a good bottom fishing investment, right? Just, wait for the market to come with us. Now here's UPath software. This is top left, lower right. Another down day today. It's overvalued. No momentum. A big channel. Just broke out to the downside. Forecasted data. It's decent. Nothing spectacular. I can't get behind UPath at this time. Here's nvidia. We just talked about nvidia. This is just going to be 2 times leverage. You can see the descending channel just like on the nvidia chart here. And we've got, pretty close touch there as well. You see the 3, for your first sign of optimism, let's get price action back above that 20-day EMA before you get, too optimistic, because this is double leveraged, right? So if you don't like volatility, this probably is not going to be an ETF for you. But again, it's all about that, the big conference next week with NVIDIA. So if we can get some enthusiasm and get back above that 20-day EMA, I'd be a little bit more confident. Now, here's the Sterling infrastructure. We just broke the 200-day moving average to the downside. Some consolidation here. We're starting to see the moving averages converge together. Get back above that 20-day EMA. And even better yet, get back in the fast lane above that Bollinger Band. This stock, way undervalued, right? So from an investment perspective, yes, I can respect this as a choice. Now, if we look at forecasted data, yeah, it's not bad. Rising for the most part. 23. The sales growth rate is my concern. It's dropping off, and now it's only at 3%. But other than that, the stock chart looks pretty good. Again, just have some patience. We're not there quite yet. Here's Vertiv Holdings. You can see this nice downward trend line here. We're actually starting to pivot away from this downward trend line. So I like what I see here. The valuation, we're pretty close. This stock's always been relatively overvalued by the market. We value it at 69. So the closer you can get to $70 with your purchase price here, the more confident I would be in this position, even from an investment perspective. VRT's got big things in the works. It does go with AI and semiconductors, that kind of thing. So we'll move along with those stocks. Earnings per share, EPS on the rise. Growth rate in earnings is on the decline, but 26%. Yes, I can get behind that. Now here is Block XYZ. Value on the decline, price action on the decline. It's a software company. Obviously they're a Bitcoin holder, so they're under pressure right now. I'm not going to get into this until I feel a little bit more comfortable with Bitcoin. And right now, I'm not too comfortable with Bitcoin just because of the risk in the market. Bitcoin's a risky asset, and we're seeing a lot of risk off. We're seeing a lot of risk off portfolio adjustments right now. Earnings per share on the rise. Forecasted data 34.4%. Yeah, I'm just not here with Block right now. Can't get behind it. Now here's the LAR Tech. We've got a lot of room to run when it comes to that 200-day moving average, and the stock is undervalued. It's software security. I like this position a lot. That low, I would just put my stop right there, and that low is going to be 586. So you're giving yourself some wiggle room, but I do like this. Now, as far as the growth rate and earnings, sales growth rate, earnings, it's all on the decline, right? So, as far as an investment, a decent investment. I don't like the forecasted too much. I do like the valuation. But I would definitely treat this more like a trade than an investment. But if you are going to be an investor, hey, I'm not mad at all. I mean, this stock was almost $50 and it was way overvalued. But if you notice, valuation and price action are on the decline. So if I can get a little bit more uptick in valuation from the VectorVest 7 software, that might actually just, pan out when it comes to price action as well. So, a little bit of an uptick in the valuation for my investors. And as far as the traders here, let's get back above that 20-day EMA before we get too excited. Now here's Powell Industries, right? Price action on decline, undervalued stock. I like what I see here. We got some room to run before we try to retest that 200-day moving average. We're approaching the 20-day EMA, which is at 177. Hey, it's only $8 away. So I can live with that for some confirmation here. If you're in it, just put a stop right around here, the swing low, something along those lines, okay? Next up, we got Me, 23andMe. Price action on decline, no, nothing I like to see here. Earnings per shares, EPS is negative, growth rate, negative. No, I don't like anything about this stock right now. Here's IREN, the financial crypto company. Again, crypto's rolling over. That was my level of support here. Broke that to the downside. What I do like here, look, this is a crypto stock that's undervalued right now. That is a good thing, right? You don't see that too much in the crypto space. So I do like that. And look, value is actually on the rise. Nice little stair-step fashion. If you want to tip your toes in this, hey, I ain't mad at it. And I see some consolidation here. Actually, that's a touch. So we just put a free line here. And look, we're pivoting right off that right now. Down day to day, I'd wait for a little bit more optimism. But as far as a stop, you're looking around probably about $6.50, somewhere in that range. Here's Lay's. Let's zoom in real quick. 6 months. Yeah, I can't get behind it right now. I mean, there's a lot of momentum to the downside. What I do like, the Bollinger Bands, they're compressing together, so it looks like it does want to break out one way or the other. We just haven't figured that out. But look at the value. The value is just flat. It has done nothing. All the forecasted data, no, I can't get behind it. We had another machinery stock towards the beginning of this video, and that looked a lot better. I'd probably go back and review that one. Here's IO and Q. Look at that nice pivot off that 200-day moving average, right where I had my support zone, 1798, 1447. That's the play. We're pivoting. So let's see if we get some follow through. If we get 3 back above the 8, hey, that's some more follow through. First price target is going to be right around here, around 24 to 28. We see the 20-day EMA there. So, a lot of resistance coming into play. Right now it's at $21, but that's a good room to run. 24 to 28 bucks. That's a good jump in price action there. So I could see this, putting this on your shopping list. And again, next week is Quantum Day with nvidia, so that's going to play a huge role. Now here's WeMe hologram. If I go into a 3-month time span, we can see this valuation, 91 cents, currently trading at 71 cents. So the stock is undervalued. The low came in just a few days ago. If I take a look here, if I use the date line, the low came in at 67 cents, right? That's going to be my stop, around 67 cents if I was to get in this. I'd want to see a little bit more optimism. I talked about this, before. Get back above that 20-day EMA would be the first step to look for some optimism. As far as the growth rate, sales growth rate, nothing phenomenal there. This is one of those quantum stocks. They don't do quantum computing per se, but when the quantum stocks move, this stock likes to move with them. And with their event next week, this may just give WeMe the confirmation we're looking for. I mean, the stock is undervalued at 91 cents, currently trading at 71. So a nice penny stock to have on your radar. Now, this is the longest video I've done. It's taken a while to go through all these stocks. I hope everyone enjoyed tonight's presentation. You got some new stocks on your radar, and I will see you guys next week.
Yeah.